The wind was sharp like a knife. It cut through clothes and skin. On planet Varela, winter never showed mercy. The refugee market was full of noise, lights, and cold hearts. Aliens of all shapes walked fast. No one looked at anyone. Everyone just wanted to survive. Jace, a tall human man with tired eyes, walked slowly between old market stalls. His coat was old, patched many times. His boots had holes. He had no job, no friends, and no future. Only one credit left in his chip. One credit, enough for food. Maybe water. Not both. He passed a stall selling hot soup. The smell made his stomach twist. But he kept walking. Then he saw her. She was sitting on the frozen ground, next to a broken metal wall. Her skin was blue, but not the bright blue of health. It was turning purple, cold purple. Her arms hugged her knees. Her clothes were torn and thin. A small sign lay beside her, written in shaky letters. Widow, no family. No food, cold. No one looked at her. Some stepped over her. Others laughed. One alien child threw snow at her. Jace stopped. Something inside him turned heavy. He looked at his credit chip. Just one. His stomach growled again. He could walk away. Everyone else did, but he couldn't. He turned back and walked to a small trader selling blankets. Thin ones, but better than nothing. 1 credit. The trader said. That's all I have, Jace replied. He handed over the chip and took the blanket. The trader looked at him. You should eat instead. Jace didn't answer. He walked back to the freezing widow. She didn't see him coming. Her eyes were closed. Her lips were blue now. He knelt down slow, so she wouldn't be afraid. Here, he said softly. She opened her eyes a deep silver color. She stared at him, confused. He wrapped the blanket around her shoulders. She flinched, then looked at him again. Why? She whispered in a dry voice. Jace stood up. You looked cold. She held the blanket close like it was the most precious thing in the galaxy. Thank you, she said. Her voice was weak. Jace gave a small nod, then walked away. He didn't wait for more words. He didn't need them. He returned to his small shelter on the edge of the city. It was made of scrap metal and old ship parts. Not warm, not safe, but it was his. He sat down inside. The hunger in his belly was sharp. He laid back and looked at the cracked ceiling. What did I just do? He whispered. He closed his eyes. The wind howled outside. Morning came with more cold. Jace opened his eyes to the sound of coughing. Rough, weak coughing. Not his. He grabbed his old metal pipe and stood up fast. Then he froze. The alien widow was outside his shelter, kneeling, holding the blanket. Her eyes were glassy. Her arms shook. She looked like she hadn't slept. Why are you here? Jace asked, opening the door. She coughed again. You gave me this. I didn't want to die alone. Jace sighed. You walked here alone? She nodded. Then her legs gave out. She collapsed. Jace caught her before she hit the ground. Damn it, he said. You're freezing. He carried her inside. She was light, too light. Her bones felt sharp through her skin. He placed her near the old heater. It didn't work well, but it was better than the street. She opened her eyes slightly. Sorry. Don't be stupid, Jace said. You're safe now. He wrapped a second old cloth around her. He had nothing else to give. She closed her eyes again, breathing slow. Jace looked at her face. She was still young. Maybe his age. Life had just been cruel. He sat beside her, watching the frozen world outside his shelter. He didn't know why he had helped her, but something told him. This was the start of something big. The silence in Jace's shelter was deep, broken only by the soft sound of the alien woman breathing. Her breath was uneven. Her body still shook from the cold. The blanket barely helped. The heater clicked, weakly but gave little warmth. Jace sat in the corner, legs pulled up, eyes watching her. He hadn't slept. He didn't trust sleep, not anymore. Not since the war. Not since he lost his unit, his home, his peace. Now, a strange blue-skinned alien lay on his floor. She stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, those silver eyes again. Her gaze wandered, trying to understand where she was. She looked at the metal ceiling, the broken heater, the patches of light from the cracks. Then she turned to Jace. "You brought me here?" She whispered. "You collapsed outside," he said. "Didn't think you'd last another hour." The woman sat up with effort. Her hands held the blanket tight against her shoulders. Her movements were slow, careful, like every breath hurt. "I don't even know your name," she said. Double quotes, JAC. She nodded. "Thali." They sat in silence again. Jace stood up and opened a small drawer. Inside were a few dry ration cubes. He grabbed one and walked over to her. "Eat," he said. She stared at it. "You need it more." "I've had worse days." Thali took the cube with shaking fingers. She nibbled it like a mouse. Her eyes watered as she chewed. Jace didn't ask why. After a moment, she spoke again. "Why did you help me?" Jace looked away. "I don't know. Maybe I got tired of walking past things." "You could have walked past me too." "Yeah," he said. "I almost did." The heater let out a soft puff of warm air. Just enough to make the space feel less like a tomb. Thali leaned back against the wall. Her eyes closed for a few seconds, then opened again. "I had a mate," she said quietly. "We came here last year. He looked for work, got into debt. He died in a mining accident. They said I owed his debt now." "Who's they?" "The Vera gang." Jace felt his jaw tighten. He had heard the name before. The Vera were a group of violent thugs who took whatever they wanted. Mostly alien refugees like Thali. They didn't care who owed what. "If you couldn't pay, you were theirs." "I ran," she said. "I hid. But this winter, I ran out of places. They'll come looking." "I know." Jace rubbed his eyes. He hadn't planned on this. He wasn't a hero. He just wanted peace. But now peace was gone. Again, a soft knock came at the door. He froze. Thali sat up straight, eyes wide. The knock came again, 3 slow taps. Jace grabbed his old pipe. It wasn't much, but it was solid. He opened the door, just a crack. A tall alien with red markings stood outside. His eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Behind him, 2 more shapes waited in the snow. "You have something that belongs to us," the tall one said. Jace didn't move. "I don't know what you're talking about." "She ran from her debt. She's marked." "She's not a thing," Jace growled. The alien grinned, sharp teeth showing. "You think one human with a stick can stop us? I think you should." "Leave," Jace said. The alien looked past him. "She's inside. I can smell her." Jace pushed the door wider, stepping forward. "You try to come in, and I break your legs," the alien laughed. "We'll be back, when the real collectors come." He turned and walked away. The snow swallowed their footsteps fast. Jace closed the door and locked it. Thali was sitting upright, shaking again. Not from cold, but from fear. "They found me," she whispered. Jace sat beside her. "Then we make a plan," he said. "But you're not going back to them." She looked at him like she wasn't sure if she should believe him. "You don't even know me," she said. "I know enough." Outside, the wind howled again. But inside, something new had started. Not warmth, not trust, but something close. The knock on the door didn't come with words. Just 3 slow, heavy thuds.jac. He didn't move at first. He sat still, heart loud in his chest. The pipe in his hand felt heavier than before. Across the small shelter, Thali's body stiffened. Her fingers gripped the blanket close. Another knock. Slower this time, almost patient. Jace stood and opened the door just a crack. The alien outside wasn't tall, but he stood like a man who feared nothing. His skin was gray, marked with black. Lines like scars. His red eyes didn't blink. Two more figures stood behind him in the snow, silent as statues. "Evening," the gray alien said. His voice was flat, without emotion. "You've got something that belongs to the Vera." Jace didn't reply. "She ran," the alien continued. "Her mate owed us 10 years of service. He died too soon. That debt is still alive." Jace's grip on the pipe tightened. "She's not property." "She's marked," the alien said, tapping the side of his neck. "You know what that means." Jace didn't, but Thali did. Behind him she whispered, "I didn't think they'd come this far. I thought they'd forget." The alien smiled. "We never forget. She's ours. Give her to us, and you stay breathing." Jace stepped out, shutting the door behind him. "You come near her again," he said, voice low, "and I break every bone in your gray little body." The alien laughed. Not loud, just enough to show it wasn't fear he felt. "You're brave. For someone with no weapons, no friends, and no credits. I'm dangerous for the same reasons." The alien's eyes narrowed. "We'll return," he said. "Next time we won't knock." Then they were gone. Just shadows disappearing into snow. Jace stood there for a moment longer. The wind bit at his face, but it didn't move him. Inside, Thali sat on the floor, silent. He walked back in and shut the door. She looked up at him. "You didn't have to do that," she said. "Now they'll hunt you too." "They were going to anyway," he replied. "I don't want you to die for me." She whispered. Jace sat beside her. "I'm not planning to die," he said. "But if I have to fight, I'd rather fight for someone than for nothing." Thali looked away. "You don't understand. The Vera don't stop. Once they claim you, you're never free. Then we'll run. They'll follow. Then we make them regret it." She stared at him like she was seeing him for the first time. "You talk like a soldier," she said. "I used to be one," he replied. "Fought in 3 colonies. Lost more friends than I remember. Got nothing for it but scars." He pulled up his sleeve, showed the long faded burn on his arm. "War forgot me," he said, "but I didn't forget how to survive." She leaned back, quiet for a moment. "My mate. He tried to pay off the debt, worked every job they gave him. Got hurt, got tired. They kept raising the numbers. Always more to owe. Always more punishment. One day he didn't come back from the mine." Jace listened without speaking. Thali's voice shook now. "I waited at the edge of the tunnels. They never even brought his body up." She wiped her eyes, angry with herself for crying. "I should have run sooner. I didn't know how." "You're running now," Jace said. "And you're not alone." The wind howled outside again, but inside the silence was warmer. Later that night, while Thali slept curled near the broken heater, Jace sat awake. His eyes scanned the shadows. His fingers wrapped around the pipe, tighter than before. He had made a choice. No going back now. And as he watched the snow fall outside, he thought only one thing: they'll come again. "And this time, I'll be ready." The sound of sirens echoed far away, but Jace knew they weren't for him. Not yet. He and Thali moved fast through the city shadows. The metal streets of Varela's lower levels were cold and wet. Steam rose from grates like ghost breath. Neon lights flickered above, blinking in alien letters. The city never truly slept, but tonight it watched them. Thali held the blanket tighter around her. Her steps were slower than Jace's, but she didn't complain. She hadn't said much since the gang came to the shelter 2 nights ago. Since then, they had been running. Jace guided her into a narrow alley. He checked over his shoulder. Empty. Still, they crouched behind a dumpster made of rusted steel. Jace whispered, "You okay?" Thali nodded, cold. He took off his coat without a word and wrapped it around her. Her silver eyes met his for just a second. And something silent passed between them, something unsure but growing. "You don't have to do this," she whispered. "I know," Jace said, "but I'm doing it." A loud crash rang out from the alley entrance. Jace grabbed her hand. "Move." They ran. Boots behind them. Heavy, fast. He didn't look back. Looking back wasted time. He pulled Thali through a broken gate, down old stairs, and into a tunnel. The smell changed. Dust, damp, mold. The underground. The noise faded behind them. Jace let out a breath. "We'll hide here, for now." Thali looked around. Pipes lined the walls. The floor was cracked and slippery. Somewhere water dripped, slow and steady. "This place is older than the war," Jace said. "No one comes here. Not even gangs." She sat down, hugging herself. "They'll still find us." "Let them try," he said. He sat beside her, stretching his legs, exhausted. His hand brushed against hers. She didn't pull away. "Why do you keep helping me?" she asked. He looked ahead into the darkness. "I've seen too many people left behind. I won't add to that number." Silence returned. But this time, it felt calm. Not peaceful, but not afraid. Then a sound. A voice, distant but clear, came through the tunnel walls. "We know where you are." Thali gasped. Jace stood quickly and pulled her up. "They're in the tunnels," he said. "Move." She grabbed his coat tighter. "How?" No one knew this place. "They've got sniffers. Tech that reads heat, movement, scent. Military stuff." He cursed under his breath. Footsteps echoed, now metal boots on metal stairs. More than one pair. Maybe 5. Maybe more. They ran deeper into the tunnels. Lights flickered above them, some dead, some blinking like eyes watching. Jace spotted a small maintenance hatch and forced it open. "In." Thali crawled in first. Jace followed, sealing the hatch. Behind him, the space was tight and dark. They had to crawl. Pipes dripped overhead. Rats scurried somewhere nearby. Thali whispered, "Jace, I'm scared." He stopped and turned to her. "I am too, but fear doesn't stop us. It pushes us." She nodded, trying to be brave. They moved forward, slow and quiet. Behind them, the sound of the hatch being torn open made Jace freeze. "They're here," he said. Thali looked back, panic in her eyes. Then came the sound of metal arms scraping. "The pipes, they're using drones," Jace whispered. "They'll gas this vent." He looked up, a loose panel. He kicked it once, twice. It fell open. "Climb," he said. Thali hesitated. "Trust me," he said. She climbed through. Jace followed. They fell into a large chamber, an old control room. Broken screens, chairs, and wires everywhere. He helped her stand. Then they heard it. A faint hum. A red light blinked above. A drone. Jace pulled her behind a wall. "Don't move." The drone floated in, scanning the room with green light. It passed by slowly. Then it stopped, turned back. A pause. Jace gripped his pipe. The drone flew closer. Closer. It scanned again. Then a loud beep. It turned around and flew away. Jace didn't breathe for 5 seconds. "Maybe it didn't get a lock," he said. Thali collapsed to the ground, trembling. "We can't keep running," she said. "They won't stop." He knelt beside her. "I know," he said. "So we stop them first." Her eyes widened. "How?" she asked. Jace looked at the broken tech in the room. Old wires, dead panels, but maybe. He smiled for the first time in days. "We fight." Blood dripped slowly from Jace's arm, leaving red spots on the floor. He didn't feel it, not yet. Adrenaline was louder than pain. The room smelled like dust, metal, and heat. Thali sat on the ground behind him, her eyes fixed on the sealed door. Her fingers gripped a broken pipe, knuckles white. Her breathing was fast, shallow. On the other side of the door, footsteps stopped. Silence. Then a voice came, soft and smooth, like a knife sliding into cloth. "Jace, We don't want to kill you, just the girl. He didn't answer. The voice continued. Give her to us. You can walk away. Thali looked up at Jace. Her eyes were glassy. He shook his head. The silence stretched. Again. Then came the sound of a charging weapon. Jace grabbed the old plasma knife from his belt. The blade barely glowed anymore, but it still worked. The door blew open. Smoke filled the room. Red lights blinked through the dust. Jace stood in front of her. The first enemy stepped in, a large alien with sharp armor and glowing red eyes. Jace didn't wait. He moved fast, stabbing the plasma blade into the alien's side. The body fell with a crack and a hiss. Then the second one came. They fought in the smoke. Jace's arms burned. His legs felt like lead. But he didn't stop. Thali screamed behind him. He turned too late. An attacker had grabbed her, lifting her off the floor. Let go, she yelled. Jace ran and slammed into the alien. They crashed into a wall. He hit it again and again until it dropped her. Then something unexpected happened. Thali screamed again, but not in fear. Her hands lit up. Blue light poured from her palms. A hum filled the air, deep and strange. The air shifted. The last attacker stumbled back, confused. Thali stood tall now. Light wrapped around her arms, her chest, her face. Her eyes burned silver. Jace stepped back. The gang member raised his gun. Thali raised her hand. The light shot out and knocked the alien off his feet. The body hit the wall and didn't move again. Silence. Jace stared at her. What was that? She fell to her knees. I didn't know I could do that. You just saved both of us. She was shaking now, not from fear but from power. Jace moved to her side. You okay? She nodded weakly. He helped her up. Her body leaned against his. She was burning hot now, like her blood had turned to fire. They stepped over the fallen enemies, out of the broken room, and back into the tunnel. Jace felt every wound now, every bruise. But Thali kept moving, holding his hand. Minutes passed, then hours. They found an old storage room deep in the tunnels. No lights, just dust and silence. Jace patched up his arm with tape. Thali sat close, still glowing a little. I didn't know my people had that power, she said. You're not like most, Jace said. She looked at him. You aren't either. He chuckled softly. I used to be a soldier. A killer, nothing special. You saved me twice now. She whispered. You saved me back. He leaned back against the wall, eyes closing for a moment. I don't care what species you are, he said. I just care that you're you. She looked down, her fingers touching his. Why do you say things like that? She asked. Because they're true. Her fingers laced with his. They sat like that for a long time, not speaking. Then she whispered, if we survive this, would you stay with me? Jace opened his eyes. I would, he said. I will. But just as the words left his mouth, a small beep echoed from his wristband. He looked down. A message flashed. Bounty active. 10,000 credits. Jace Ryder. Dead or alive. His breath caught. Thali saw the message too. Her voice trembled. They've turned you into a target. He nodded slowly. Yeah, and now they won't stop either. Her grip on his hand tightened. Then we fight together, she said. Asterisk, it had been 3 days since the last fight. 3 days since Jace's name appeared on bounty boards across the system. His face now glowed on every dark wall and flickering holoscreen in the city. Wanted, dangerous, rewarded. But none of that mattered. Now. Not here. The hidden valley outside the city was quiet. No machines, no footsteps, only wind, soft and warm. Strange glowing plants lined the hillside. Purple vines curled up from the ground like reaching hands, and tiny blue lights floated in the air like lazy fireflies. Jace stood near a small stream, washing the blood from his hands. It was dry now, but he hated the feeling. He wanted to forget how it got there. Behind him, Thali sat near the roots of a silver-leaf tree, legs crossed, her eyes closed. She looked peaceful for the first time. He watched her from the water's edge. She's stronger than she knows. He whispered to himself. The powers. She had used the light, the heat it had come from deep inside her. She didn't understand it, not fully. But it had saved them. And maybe, just maybe, it could do more. He walked back and sat beside her. She opened her eyes slowly. This place is sacred, she said. My people used to live in valleys like this. Far away, long ago, before we were hunted. Before we were poor and broken. Jace looked around. It feels different here. Like the air is watching us. It remembers, Thali said softly. It remembers peace. She reached into the small bag beside her and pulled out a crystal. It glowed blue, faint and soft. She held it to his arm. He winced. Easy, she said. The crystal touched his skin. Warmth spread slowly through the wound. The pain eased. The swelling went down. After a moment, the cut looked smaller. Your magic rock, he said with a smile. She smiled back. It's not magic. Just old science. My ancestors knew how to grow these. We lost that knowledge. I found this one in my mate's bag after he died. Jace looked at her face. You never talk about him, he said gently. There's not much to say, she replied. He was kind. He was trying to save us, but the world doesn't reward kindness. Not often, Jace nodded slowly. Then it's time we change the world. She looked at him. Us? Yeah, you and me. Silence again, but a warm silence this time. Like two fires leaning together to burn brighter. Later, as night fell, they built a small shelter from branches and old blankets. The stars came out slowly, blinking like quiet watchers in the sky. Thali lit a small fire with her hands. No tools, no sparks, just heat from her palms. It danced in the circle of stones between them. They shared the last ration bar, chewing. In silence, Jace broke it first. I used to dream of something like this, he said. Not the hiding, not the running, just quiet, stars, warmth. Thali looked at him. And someone beside you? He gave a soft smile. Yeah, someone real, someone brave. She moved closer to the fire. You don't have to say those things. I'm not saying them for you, he said. I'm saying them because they're true. She looked at the stars. I never thought a human would save me. And I never thought an alien would make me feel ... at home. She turned toward him. Their eyes met. I don't have much to offer you, she whispered. No money, no ship, just me. That's all I want. She leaned into him, slow, unsure. He didn't pull away. When their foreheads touched, the fire between them flickered higher. The night grew warmer. And then, just before she closed her eyes, she said, I want to stay like this. So do I. He replied, but far away, in the heart of the city, a cold voice watched Jace's face on a screen and said, We found him. The signal blinked green. A new team was on the move. The first warning was the wind. It changed. Not colder. Just ... Wrong. The trees stopped swaying. The soft floating lights that always danced above the valley vanished all at once. The animals fell silent. Jace sat up fast, his hand reaching for the plasma knife. Thali was already awake, crouched beside the fire. Her eyes reflected a strange shimmer in the air above them. She whispered, They're here. A low hum echoed through the valley. A ship, not a loud one. A stealth model, small and fast. Only elite hunters used those. The fire went out. Thali grabbed her crystal and stood beside him. She didn't tremble this time. Her fear had changed into something else. Resolve. They tracked the bounty, Jace said. I should have known this place wouldn't hide us forever. It wasn't meant to, she said. Just long enough to give us strength. Lights appeared in the sky, red dots growing brighter. 4, maybe 5. Jace's heart pounded. They'll try to take me first. Kill you if they have to. No, Thali said. They won't touch you. She stepped forward and raised her hand. The crystal pulsed with blue light. The ground trembled slightly. From the dark sky, a voice boomed over a speaker. Jace Ryder, Thali Zivan, you are surrounded. No more running, come out, now. Jace didn't move. He looked at her. What do you want to do? He asked Dr. Silver. Eyes glowed. Fight. The first shot came fast. A plasma beam slammed into the earth near them, leaving a smoking crater. Dirt flew. Jace pulled Thali behind a rock, split left. I'll draw them, he said. She nodded, then reached out and kissed his forehead. Stay alive. You too. They moved. Jace ran toward the edge of the ridge, yelling loud, drawing fire. Shots chased him. He ducked, rolled, and kept moving. His blade sparked as he slid behind cover. But Thali had already changed the battle. The hunters moved. Information fast, sharp, exact. But they weren't ready for her. She stood tall in the center of the valley, hands raised, crystal glowing bright like a star. The light from her palms exploded into the sky. One of the ships jolted mid-air systems. Fried. It spun out and crashed into the trees. The other hunters aimed at her, but the ground itself rose, protecting her. The energy wasn't just in her, it was in the valley. She had connected to something ancient. Jace stared in awe, forgetting his pain. Thali was no longer just a refugee. She was power. The last two attackers charged toward her. Jace didn't hesitate. He leapt from the ridge, landing hard behind them. Swinging his blade, one down, the other turned and raised his rifle. Too late. Thali's light hit him like a wave. Silence returned. Not a single engine buzzed. Not a single enemy moved. Jace limped toward her. She was breathing hard, her skin glowing faint blue, sweat on her forehead. He held her shoulders. You okay? She nodded slowly. It's over. Jace smiled. Not yet. They returned to the wreckage. Found weapons, food, tech. They could build something now. Something better. Days passed. Then weeks. They stayed in the valley. Together. They built a home, part old ship, part forest. Simple. Quiet. Warm. One night, as the stars blinked above, Thali walked over holding something in her hands. A new blanket. Made of cloth she had stitched. Herself. Soft. Clean. Blue like her skin. She placed it on his shoulders and sat beside him. He looked at her and smiled. Full circle. She leaned in close. You gave me warmth when I was dying. He pulled her into his arms. And you gave me something I thought I'd lost. What? A reason to stay alive. The blanket fell around them both as they lay on the hillside, watching the stars in silence. There were no more ships above, only peace, only warmth, and love.